Hi, my name is Wu. My retired number is number 19. Um, I've been involved in roller derby for about 16 years. But I retired from competitive skating in 2019. When I was competitive skating, I was a defensive blocker. Um, and B4 for life. That's showing my age in this sport. And I am now a coach and bench manager for Birmingham Roller Derby. Yeah, so I haven't always lived in Birmingham. I moved here 25 years ago. So I'm an adopted Brummie. I'm proud. I was born in the West Midlands, and then I grew up in the southwest in Cornwall, actually, which was quite an interesting experience, being kind of the first black family to move to the town and the school where I grew up. Quite a solidifying growth experience for me as a child. And then, yeah, moved up to Birmingham um, when I was 18 to go to Birmingham University. My mum is British and my dad is West African. He's Ghanaian. So yes, I think my initial experience, I came into skating through like roller fit, and then discovered the sport of roller derby through basically a coach who was sort of leading in that space. And it was really positive. It was exciting. It was new. It was kind of like designed to be a space where it was welcoming. It was diverse. I say diverse. It was a place where you could a bit of a counterculture, I think. And I think when countercultures when you first come up when you first encounter a counterculture, it's an exciting new thing because you're able to find your space and find yourself and your identity, and that's exactly what I used it for. It made me feel really powerful in my own body and taking up space, which I'd never had that before growing up. I'd always been one of those people that wanted to shrink and disappear because I always looked different in every space that I was in. So it was great for that. It wasn't until I got into competitive roller derby, and I started to see other teams. I started to compete against other teams, and also started to compete internationally. That I noticed that wow, this sport is pretty white, and yeah, there's a lack of black faces here. My partner is a roller derby photographer, and I think he's kind of like one of two that we're aware of, that work in the space and are kind of like visible in the space. I think that's the thing for me that became apparent that was missing was like visibility of black people within the roller derby space. Um, Bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy because you're less likely to join spaces if you don't see yourself represented, because it's like, well, that's not for me because no one else is doing it. So it takes somebody to trailblaze it and to be there first, and do that work to show that it's safe, it's inviting, and it is a great place to kind of thrive and be yourself, to invite people into that space. And I think that's what we're only just now starting to do. I think in the States, the top teams are getting it right, and having kind of like the pickup teams like Black Diaspora is incredible, because it's all about that representation, and to have that on the national kind of like stage, the international stage is phenomenal. And we're starting to see that trickle down a bit. I hope. But I think, yeah, there's still work to do here in the UK, to make that happen. More trailblazers we need, and I think that's about having people that are brave enough to do it. I'm super lucky to be surrounded by a bunch of amazing black women that do exactly that. I think, yeah, in terms of changing things, it's outside of that representation, which is, yeah, it's tough to do because it's someone's got to go first and someone's got to do it first. I think it's kind of like really simple, like housekeeping stuff around black people in sport. I think in terms of people's perceptions of physicality and body types, and how the types of personas that people bring to the track. I think there's still sometimes a bit of a misrepresentation of um, how much kind of like power and aggression that black people skate with and are capable of. And it's a superpower, so it absolutely needs to be like unleashed and be continued to be brought to the track. It shouldn't be something that, that we should be afraid of. I'm a tall, kind of like powerful build myself. And I think it definitely like just needs a bit more of a not even open mind, just kind of an acceptance of different styles that are out there. I think bugbear for me still in officiating, as now I'm in a bench manager role. I get to kind of witness it firsthand and have to deal with the fallout from it. Is with kind of officiating calls and missed calls. Like, let's not do that anymore. Like, I'm really bored of it. It just should not be a thing. There shouldn't. The fact that there's a policy to deal with it I just baffles me that it's still a thing. So yeah, let's just be better on that front, I think. And I think, yeah, other things that I'd like to see change. Sort of stem from my own life experience as a mixed race woman in business. Is there's a lack of representation in leadership. Um, I'm really privileged in that I benefit from being a lighter skinned mixed race woman. So I can get away with a lot more outside of roller derby and inside of roller derby, and I do benefit from that type of colorism, and I'm really aware of that privilege. I know that that privilege is not afforded to everybody, and I think in that sense, again, we need to trailblaze, and we need to see more black people in positions of leadership within UK leagues, and also European leagues, because there are amazing, not only skaters, there are amazing coaches out there, there are amazing officials out there. And I think we need to do work harder and be better at recruiting for people in those spaces, because we're missing a trick on having a level of diversity in leadership in this sport as well. I think that's super important. Oh, Windies. Um, Again, talking about privilege, was so lucky this year that I was able to be part of that team, and help coach and manage. And right from the get-go, from like the start of the training year right through to the actual tournament itself, um, was just absolute magic. For me personally, um, I never stopped smiling at the fact that I was part of that team, and I'm so grateful. I'm not of West Indian heritage, but my partner is, so it was great to be able to represent him trackside. He was the team photographer, so it was really cool to kind of like be able to do that together. And it was just an incredible space of amazing, powerful, and talented skaters that represented every single kind of like colour from every um, every place in the West Indies, with just absolute like grace, dedication, um, team ethic, like work ethic. It was an absolute joy. There wasn't a bad moment. And yeah, I'm super like privileged to have been able to be part of that, because it was actually really special for me to be able to contribute to roller derby in a space where I felt like I fit for the first time ever. And having been in the sport for 16 years, it was weird that that was kind of like a moment for me to be like, oh gosh, wow, this is actually what it feels like for all of the things to like line up and for it to feel great. So yeah, just take a sneaky opportunity to say a huge thank you to Team West Indies for just being an epic bunch of people and for having me along for the ride because it was brilliant. I think as well during World Cup, um, during the training periods and the run up to the tournament, we travelled around quite a bit, like remote random B&Bs in Wales, um, like a complete restaurant takeover where it was like, wow, look, there's a massive table there of like 20 black women. Like it was pretty cool to just like walk into places and just like ruffle feathers, and then have that like championed. We had, announcements made whilst we were eating dinner to say that Team Windies are here on the way to the World Cup and, wishing you the best of luck and just really lovely, like little experiences like that of acceptance right the way through. All the teams that we trained with and played against as well in the training phase the year before was brilliant as well, and everybody was very, very accepting, which was great. And then at the World Cup, yeah, I think being the kind of the founding borderless team at that tournament just speaks volumes. And the guy's reputation just absolutely goes before them. Everybody knew who Windies were. Everybody was kind of like was basically a Windies fan. And it was just it was crazy. It was probably one of one of my most like memorable like derby experiences, if I'm honest. What does power and pride mean to me? um I think we're in the best place for it. We're in a sport that absolutely champions you showing up as your true self, and it's all about being unapologetically powerful in how you play on track, how you lead people, how you coach and help people, and how you hold yourself. And I think as a black person in this sport, that's incredibly like important because you shouldn't be shrinking yourself to be part of a community that is actually like the blueprint for where you could absolutely thrive and be great. And that's what makes me sad that there's not more black women involved in this sport, and not more black people involved in the wider derby community because it really is a space where you can do great things. I think we just need to do a better job of showing that and showing that it's a safe space to be able to do it. So yeah, so showing up and bringing your power is a really important theme for Black History Month. I think it's absolutely perfect for the roller derby community and Black people in this space. And the pride part is exactly that. For me, pride is not second guessing yourself, is speaking your truth and um, yeah, sharing your passion, sharing how you feel about people and how you feel about how committed you are to what you're doing, and feeling great that that's what you've chosen to kind of like to do and to represent. And I think me personally, I feel really proud that I've unfortunately retired from competitive derby, but I've found a spot where I feel like I still have something to give, and ultimately my team Birmingham Roller Derby give me so much back, and I'm really really proud of us as an organisation for being able to kind of do that to create spaces for people that maybe are not just A team skaters, but they can still feel part of everything, and I'm really proud that at BRD we have the level of diversity that I didn't realize that I was actually craving, to be able to kind of bring more of that in. Like our recruitment this year for newer skaters has been great on that front. We've got more black and brown people joining us, which means we're doing our job right. The oldies that have been in the league for a long time we're showing up and we're being visible. And I think that's the work that needs to be done. And I'm really, really lucky that I'm surrounded by amazing skaters, amazing black women that are prepared to kind of graft and do that work. So it's not just personal pride. I'm proud of the team and I'm proud of the black people that are within BRD for doing the work so that we can continue to be the diverse league that we are.